Okay, let's have some more discussion about style. So basically, after this presentation, you'll understand inline style and pseudo classes, and also a little bit about which rule has more priority than other rules. These are the pseudo classes we're going to look at. So first thing, inline style. So inline style is when you type the style that you want to apply right there for that particular element. So for this particular paragraph, we want to say all the text will be on the right-hand side. That's what we're saying right there. So that is inline style. So that's very different to what we've talked about before. Before we talked about putting style at the top of a page, and this is really the opposite. This is saying, no, I don't want to put it at the top of the page. I want to put it right here for one particular element right there. All right. So it's harder to manage because you have to go through all the code and try to work out which inline style is being used if everything is not at the top in the style section. So it can be a bit more troublesome. Here's an example. This has a list, unordered list, and we have 4 list items in the list, and we have a style rule at the top which says every list item is going to have a yellow background. Okay, no problem. 4 list items, they will all have a yellow background. However, down here we said, no, I want to apply this inline style to the 3rd list item. So because we've said this is a higher priority than this. So this one will indeed be in purple and all the others will be in yellow. So we get a result like this. Yellow, 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 but then we said inline style for the 3rd list item. So it's purple. It has a higher priority. All right, let's talk about another thing. Context control for style rules. You could have a rule which looks like this. And it says, all right, list items, those will be red color. But what it actually says is list items which are within an unordered list. Those list items, no other list items, will be red. All right, so list item inside unordered list, red. Any other list item will not be red. So here's an example piece of code. We've got a list and another list. This one is an unordered list. This one is an ordered list. And then we've said up here a rule. So we've said list items in the unordered list, that's the first list, they will be yellow. Now that will not apply to the second list. So here's the result. You can see the style rule has not been applied to the second list, but it got applied to the first list. Let's look at another subject, pseudo classes. So pseudo classes are basically classes with what I tend to say is some kind of intelligence, some kind of extra capability. So here's the first one, and it is hover. So it's saying when the user puts their mouse over heading 1, it will change to red. So put your mouse over heading 1, the color of the text will become red. Move your mouse away from the heading 1, it will go back to the previous color. So that's hover. So it's some kind of intelligence, if you like. Now there's a lot of these pseudo classes, many of them. So let's just have a look at a few of them. So for example here, if you have a link, then that will be red color. Right? Now that applies to A because actually that's what a link is. So it has to be A. Remember A, anchor. So any link will be red color. What about here? Visited. That means that the person who is using the browser, if they have visited a link and the link is shown on the web page, then you can fix up a color. So again, that has to be for A because A is for links. So anything that you have visited will be shown in red color. Active. So active means you are currently following the link. You are currently following the link. Now that could be just like 0.1 of a second. You've clicked on a link and the browser is just going and grabbing the next web page and building it, and then it displays the link. It could be very quick. even though it's very quick, there is a pseudo class for handling that. You're currently following and grabbing the next web page because you clicked on a link. All right, it will apply this style. And again, that has to be for A because it's all about links. What about this one? Well, this one doesn't have to be for A. This is pretty straightforward. This is any element which is empty. It has nothing inside it. All right, it could be every paragraph which is empty. It will use this style rule. So this is just 5 of them, but there's actually another 20, 30, 40, a lot more pseudo classes. So here's an example, and we've set up these rules that we just looked at, the pseudo classes, and then we built a simple web page to explore them. And then it looks like this. And so we can try some of these out, but some of them, remember, are quite hard to see. So let's go for the hardest one first. Remember, the hardest one is the active link. Okay, that is the link that is currently being processed. Maybe hard to see. Purple. So active link, it will become purple. So let's try to open the example and then we'll play with it and try these out. Active link will become purple is the first one we'll try. So here's the example. Let's try that first one. Active link should become purple, but you may have to be very quick with your eyes, but let's try it. There's 4 links here and a series of lists here, one single list with lots of list items. So let's try the active link. So I'm going to click on this one. And yes, it managed to show that in the correct style very quickly. Okay, so that was active link. What else did we have? We had a link which has not yet been activated. You can see there's some yellow color being applied behind it. What about if we have visited the link? Well, now we have visited the link, so it's using that style rule as well. Down here, we have empty style rule being used. All right, so this particular list item had nothing inside it, so that triggered the use of that particular style. And then the other thing we used was hover, so let's show hover. So you can see if I put my mouse over these, they change the background color. Okay, a little bit hard to demonstrate some pseudo classes because they have some kind of intelligence, if you like. But yes, you can see mouse over has triggered the different style. So that's our brief introduction to 3 different areas of styles, including this one, which is pseudo classes.